Kilkenny have come to Parnell Park and won by 120 to 18 points. It was probably one of the standout things from this game was just at the water break in the second half. You could see the disappointment in the Kilkenny players because they just conceded 4 points in a row to allow Dublin back in and make it 16 points apiece. But one of the players, I'm not sure who it was, goes, "We spent the last 6 months talking about the third quarter," which, you look back to last year and the way they collapsed against Waterford in the All-Ireland semi-final, obviously tracing it back to that. But then the Cats absolutely took over the fourth quarter. So whatever marker was being laid down by the man speaking during that water break, it seemed to work because they won the rest of the game and looked comfortable enough. They scored, what was it? I think obviously the crucial man actually for them was Martin Keoghan. He scored 1-4. Very strong performance from the Tullaroan man. Capitalised on some desperate Dublin defending. So a crossfield ball went in, and a couple of players, I think it was James Madden and Paddy Smith, went over and they had an opportunity to just shepherd him. He was right on the end line outside the 14 as well, so he had an awful lot of work to do. Two of them dived in. It allowed Martin Keoghan to sneak past them and at the second attempt whipped the ball into the back of the net, and that kind of knocked the stuffing out of Dublin at that point because he'd already scored a point after the water break to put Kilkenny a point ahead, and then he got that goal as well, and you could sense, because Dublin, it was such hard work to get any score for them, that once the margin went out to 4 points, having scored 4 in a row, just to go back and do it again, it just seemed like a difficult ask. And everything seemed like such hard work for Dublin in this match. It was kind of an element of self-destruct. During the first half, they had just so many poor wides. They converted 9 out of 23 chances, and that's obviously not going to be good enough against any team. There's a couple of selection issues. I'm not sure that Davy Keogh was best used in the forward line. I think his strike can let him down at times, and a couple of missed chances. Trollier, Eamon Dillon didn't look as sharp as he can do up front. He did get a point eventually, but he's a really good player, and it didn't quite happen for him. Certainly not the way it did in the Leinster Championship in this when these two teams met last year. Owen O'Donnell had a great performance in full back. Liam Rush was named at number 6, and he was more or less the sweeper necessarily, more so than marking his man the entire time, and he performed quite well. He was moving well, but the second half, when the pressure came on, he'd already got a yellow card in the first half. And when I talk about self-destruct, I mean, there was no need for him to clean a man out. I'm not sure if it was Conor Brown or if it was Michael Carey that he cleaned out coming through, and it was the second yellow card. And it was just, as soon as the referee identified who it was who had done the challenge, it was pretty obvious that he was going to get the red card. And from that point on, 118 to 16 points down. It was just complete dead rubber at that stage. There was 5 minutes plus injury time left, so probably the guts of 10 minutes left overall. And just back to the self-destruct, just the use of the ball from the Dubs at time, hitting 50-50 ball, like actually 70-30 ball in against outnumbered attackers, because obviously if you're playing an extra man back, going 50-50 with the ball really isn't a 50-50 at all because you're outnumbered up there. Just easy points missed so often, just balls not sticking. Now, we don't know what training these teams are doing, and it's the first game that they've played all year. So, first proper game, competitive game they've played all year. So you don't want to be too harsh on them. But like Donald Burke missed a handy free in the 58th minute. He actually missed the lift, which, he's a classy player, so I was very surprised to see that. Then Ronan Hayes missed one once Donald Burke had gone off. Sutcliffe missed another in the 69th minute, and then David Tracy came on just coming into injury time, and he knocked over 2 frees in that time. So, I mean, having a very reliable free taker is such a massive thing. I'd imagine Kilkenny wouldn't be 100% happy with how they played in this game, and definitely there'd be concerns with Richie Lahey. He came off during the first half. He's had a lot of injury issues over the last couple of years. He came off, he seemed quite distraught, possibly a hamstring injury, so that'll be a bitter pill to swallow for him. But I think they'd be happy enough with how they perform, because normally it's a tough enough place for teams to come in Parnell Park, and it's not their first visit here at all, but came along to get a 5-point win is encouraging going into the championship. And but of the teams that played in Saturday so far, at the point that I'm recording this video, Galway are the team that look far more impressive, and both Kilkenny and Dublin would want to produce an awful lot better than what they produced today if they're to claim the Leinster title this year. I think Dublin will feel especially that they have a lot to do. Adrian Mullen made his comeback after the cruciate last year, and he had a quiet enough first half. He didn't get on the score sheet. He set up 1 point, and I think he was taken off at half time purely because they just probably wanted to mind him Very windy conditions here, by the way, as well. It's difficult to record. My stuff flying everywhere. Midfield continues to probably be a little bit of a tricky area for Brian Cody. Killian Buckley played there alongside Richie Lagg, as I mentioned, but they ended up with different players there over the course of the game. John Donnelly worked his way into the game, a decent performance. TJ Reid won some frees. Wouldn't say he absolutely dominated the game, but he had a decent performance. Owen Cody, brilliant the way he kept on turning his man and spinning his man. He's a great way, sort of like a good striker in soccer, leaning back into his marker and spinning him. But he had 5 wides, I think, over the course of the game. So obviously he'll be looking to do a little bit better than that in future. But definitely a good player. Jarrod Corcoran was in wing back, did pretty well. Pádraig Walsh with a couple of points from wing back as well. So Kilkenny, good start to the season. They're in fine fettle. Dublin probably an awful lot to do and probably won't be feeling all that happy with certainly how they finished out the game, and it just looked a little bit ropey at times, and a lot of players have a lot of work to do to get into top form. They're going to struggle to get scores, and that's probably what we were concerned about before the start of the season, and not much has changed there. So let me know what you think.